Hello everyone, so here's a little video, there you go. At the start of summer we will soon be organizing our summer retreat close to my home in Champéry, Switzerland. The retreat has been fully booked for some time now, and this will be the first year we have so many people, about 25 participants. There will be 3 coaches on site and a cook. In 2 weeks we will be ready for a retreat that promises to be truly exciting. We have some new things coming up and we will be using photography, electrography, all the Russian technicalities, GDV camera to conduct entry assessments for all participants. So we will have a new assessment that will allow us to move much faster, and then we will have very precise data from energy analyses. Regarding the chakras, we will also be able to test many elements on site in a more concentrated manner with a report that will be established. This will allow us to save time and have a truly high-performance device for taking measurements. We will also have the possibility to perform electrocardiograms on site, which will provide additional safety. All of this, well, there you go. It improves, it refines over the years, over the courses. We always have new things coming out. We update ourselves. And then there you go, we will be 3 coaches. So this first year we will really have lots and lots of workshops, lots of interesting things, whether it's shamanism, workshops for releasing armor, meditations of all kinds. There will be lots and lots of things. We will always have this international clientele that is starting to come from the United States more and more, because we are the only center that really offers this holistic global support in dry fasting. No one has done it yet. And then we bring in a bit of technique. Indeed, this year we will also have the chance to have a novelty, which is the therapeutic mattress called else meticulous, so it's a new one. Therapeutic support system during dry fasting that will be made available to fasters, so it's really a great thing that I have tested, which I found really impressive. In fact, you have layers that correspond to the stone chakra. So you lie down on a stone mat, you have layers that are aligned across the entire body, and you have this layer of stone that is aligned on the mattress. You have pulsed electromagnetic fields with specific frequency bands for dry fasting. We will focus on cellular regeneration, so we apply certain frequency bands. We will use LED light that pulses under the crystals, creating a very relaxing effect, which provides relief for physical ailments, etc. So we will have this therapeutic product for those who are interested to explore. You can find it in my dry fasting shop. It's a new tool that I distribute. I tested it and it is validated, so that's for the new items. Moving on, well, there you go. It will be this summer in the places we already know. We're going back there for the 3rd consecutive year, so truly a place that is oxygenated, an energetic place that is truly refreshing and invigorating. People will really have a very beautiful treatment in any case, with plenty of autophagy, plenty of rejuvenation, and I'm excited. It's going to be a wonderful treatment with a great group there. So we are pressing about 6 or 7 people who are returning from other treatments and have already been to our place, which shows that there is interest in coming back for the preventive effect of dry fasting. And then there are people with minor ailments who want to try something new that they haven't tested yet. And then among the other new things for next year, we're going to open Greece, and it's official, it's scheduled on the site. So Montenegro next year will disappear. Will disappear or not, we don't know, but in any case, we're going to take a break next year for Montenegro. There will be no Montenegro, but there will be Corfu instead. It will be Greece, a seaside hotel in a dream location, a very, very beautiful place. So there's no concrete. There's a 2 to 3 kilometer long beach, so people can walk on fine sand, which can be super rejuvenating in terms of planetary reflexology. Doing that as a daily walk. So it's right by the water, it's a luxury hotel, so it's not rooms at 20 euros, that's for sure, but we've decided to have a top level hotel. We have therapists on site that I've tested of very high level too. We'll see if we bring therapists from home or not, we'll see all that. In any case, we have a treatment really in a very, very interesting place right by the sea, Corfu, and there you go. It's a paradise island. It's really, for those who know, you have water that is superb. So it will be in October when the tourists are really at the end of October, so we're not in extreme heat, but it's still water that will be, in any case, I think around 25 degrees, which allows for sea baths after the dry fast or before. For those who want to come a bit earlier or leave later, there's the possibility to stay on the island. There's fish soups. Really everything we need is on site. So a high level, high quality hotel. We have a chef there. There's a team of 6 people in the kitchen, so it's fine. We can have all the little menus we want. There's no problem at that level. We'll have high quality service. We've never had a place with such a level of service quality. The rooms are 5-star, there you go. So it will be Corfu 2026. There you go. So we're moving up market. There you go for people who really want to have a treatment. Truly rejuvenating. There you go, of high level. It will be Corfu. There you go, next year. So that's the news. And then, well, I'm bouncing back on the study. There's a study that came out in 2024. We're going to talk a little about that which can be likened to fasting with diet systems. Well, there's a whole side of mistreating. He developed products, etc. But he's still a researcher, so he hasn't invested too much. I don't know why, because I don't know if he knows, I have no idea. He has investigated a lot into short fasts, water fasts, things like that, diet systems. And then in 2024, well, he released a study on 100 people aged 18 to 70, where he subjected them to cycles of fasting mimicking diet, so low-calorie diets of about 700 calories for 5 days, with repeated cycles over 5 to 6 cycles. So I don't know, we're somewhat convinced by these repetitions. People who come for a one-shot dry fast, okay, it's good, they have an effect, okay, yes, they have an interesting effect on one thing, but the one-shot, unfortunately, won't solve all health problems for a lifetime. It's not by doing 5 days that you fix years of mistakes, debilitating pathologies, etc. That's not possible. It's the repetition that counts. So here we have people coming back for the 3rd time, doing their 3rd treatment in 12 months, I think 12 or 18 months. This video. Walter Longo is a pioneer in the studies of that's how he estimates it. So for us, dry fasting for people starting at 50 or 60 years old, dry fasting every year, I estimated at about a benefit of about 15 years, if taken around the age of 50. Then I estimate for a person who will live, I don't know, 90 years, I estimate that someone who is aware and incorporates dry fasting into their life gains approximately between 15 to 20 years, 50 years on average, between 15 and 25 years of age. It's an average, there you go. If you do things perfectly, it's a... So with dry fasting, it's good to have follow-up, and then there are people who come for rejuvenation and prevention. So 1 treatment per year is what I do myself, a preventive measure to really cleanse toxins, heavy metals, and waste, to do an annual reset, a service. That's what we recommend. But Walter van Gogh's study, I'll put it below the video, remains interesting on these 4 cycles of 5 days. We really have proof that calorie reduction in any case, fasting creates a cellular metabolic rejuvenation. He evaluates it over the 4 cycles he subjected to about 2.5 years of life gain. So that's how he estimates it. So for us, dry fasting for people starting at 50 or 60 years old, dry fasting every year, I estimate it at about a benefit of about 15 years. If taken around the age of 50, then I estimate for a person who will live, I don't know, 90 years, I estimate that someone who is aware and incorporates dry fasting into their life gains approximately between 15 to 20 years. I would say, well, after that it depends on the age at which you start all this, so there you go. He has perfectly evaluated with a diet. We achieve with a diet, several diets, since he has implemented 4 or 5 day diets, a rejuvenation of 2.5 years. So do the math, there you go. In water fasting, you are more efficient. In dry fasting, you are even more efficient because there is more autophagy, more cleansing, more cellulose. There is more of everything. There is more regeneration at the level of the immune system, etc. We'll look at the finer details later. So it's interesting, a reduction in insulin resistance, a decrease in visceral and hepatic fat, those are the first 2 things they mention, and then this famous rejuvenation of 2.5 years. So you might ask what markers were taken. There are specific markers for evaluating the economy of 2.5 years of life. They conducted tests on glucose, insulin, glycated hemoglobin, aspartate, C-reactive protein, creatinine, cholesterol, all types of cholesterol, albumin, leukocytes, lymphocytes, neutrophils, blood pressure. These are the markers they use. Then they have algorithms, clinical data, they calculate ratios, conduct double-blind studies with all this, and then they publish this study which I am linking here. So this study remains interesting, proving to us that, well, we don't need science, or rather, yes, we always need science because few people conduct studies on what we do. Anyway, we know it. There's a researcher in the United States who worked with NASA, responsible for getting people back on their feet after returning from space, who is a fanatic of dry fasting. He talks extensively about dry fasting and is indeed convinced. He speaks of immortality in relation to dry fasting. He practices dry fasting regularly and is convinced that properly done regular dry fasting leads to a kind of immortality. I somewhat agree with him, but you must be careful about what you do in between, because if you indulge in McDonald's and fill yourself with non-ideal nutrition between dry fasts, you have a cell that anchors each time, and you must do dry fasting each time to cleanse all that, to return to homeostasis, a cellular level low in toxins, a metabolism that is truly optimal in terms of micronutrient and macronutrient intake. You find a kind of perfect body that is perfectly nourished with an ideal vibrational state, ensuring eternal longevity. It's a perpetual fountain of youth. I would say yes and no. It means you must have a proper dietary recovery. Now, dietary recoveries have been somewhat improved and refined. I talk about it a bit in the book. We will discuss all this further in the next cure, but we really have a system that is refined with the idea of not necessarily doing a recovery, not necessarily preparing for fasting, not necessarily having a specific exit, but trying to find a diet that is always the same, where you have no frustration, no yo-yo effect, and something that suits you individually. So You are capable of transitioning into a dry fast in preparation. That's the idea, because saying, let's make an effort for 3 weeks, that's the old school. Hygienists talk like that. You have 3 weeks of preparation, 2 weeks of recovery. I'm not really into that anymore. I've developed a preparation for dry fasting, which you can find in my book, but now I'm more into the idea of having a so-called ideal nutrition that ensures good health, allowing you to have the most ideal homeostasis possible, a balance in your micro and macro elements. You find a nutrition that doesn't frustrate you, allowing you to be well at any time, with a dietary system that lets you transition immediately into a fast without needing much preparation, because you're already in a dietary system that doesn't pollute you, doesn't burden you with waste, doesn't overload your liver, etc. So that's mainly the future of our cures. It's about giving people the keys to finding their diet without needing to make efforts, and it should become natural without having to adhere to complicated dietary descents and exits. When you're already in this ideal nutritional state, you have less need to worry about fasting preparations and exits, because it happens without you realizing it. It's natural, and you don't have a metabolic shock. Your body doesn't enter a kind of diet where it becomes complicated. The preparation is what worries people. When you're already in this constant dietary system all year round, you avoid these metabolic jumps, and you're already prepared at all times to transition into a fast that will go a bit further in cleansing and regeneration. So here is this study. I will list it. So indeed it's fasting mediatic diet. We see that it's not so bad. So for those who might be afraid of fasting, I tell them, do this, no worries. You do a calorie restriction 5 days every month, for example, and then you do this in cycles of 4 times. Well, it's already interesting. It's a calorie. It's not huge, but it's still something. So there you go. After that, it's clear that if you compare it to a dry fast, you still have less autophagy, you still have less significant cellular reprogramming, fewer stem cells, the decrease in IGF, an inflammatory growth factor, is less. You have a reduction in biological age, which will still be much more significant when you fast, because you push the body a little further, so you will have a repair that is more important, but it aligns a little with what we've thought from the start. There you go. Dry fasting makes you gain from the age of 50 years on average, between 15 and 25 years of age. It's an average. There you go. If you do things perfectly, it's a hypothesis. So, well, with his work, it's still interesting to show that, there you go, in a scientific way, that calorie restriction, fasting or dry fasting, can lead to significant benefits in a measurable way. So I was more or less finished with this little video, so I wish you well, and I'll put the study below. You have all this data, and you can look at this text to translate it from English. You have everything there. See you soon. Bye bye.